Howdy. This is the Views Expressed right here on the Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting live on Spreaker.com. Yeah. If you heard some music at the beginning, I just fired it up a little earlier and wanted to play some music. So anyway, it's all right. It's Friday. What do you expect? It's Friday. Yes, it is. It is Friday, the 11th of January, 2013. I am your host, Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. I'm glad you're here. I am glad you are listening. I am glad that you're thinking, you're aware, and all of that. Now, I'm going to play a little clip later after the break. Alex Jones today was talking to Eric Mancow Muller, who you have to really listen to. Eric Mancow Muller. Mancow.com, I think is what it is. He's a national radio host. And he himself has said that he doesn't always agree with Alex Jones. It's okay. You don't have to agree all the time. How are you going to learn anything? You know what I'm saying? There's so much that we have to understand. And the one thing that we have to understand is that not everybody's going to agree with everything. Okay? That's just the way it is. It's not about the personality. It's about the content of what they're saying. You may or may not agree with it. You may, want to ignore it. I don't know. All depends on you. It all depends on you. But, I just made an executive decision here. I was going to play a clip, but it was on my cell phone. So what I will do is I'll wait till Monday to play it. That way I can download it, take that particular clip that I want to play out, and play it on the show Monday. So my apologies to everybody who wanted to hear the clip. It'll be there Monday. We had Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri talk show this morning. We wanted to try it out, see how it works, see how you like it. Apparently, Nick Larson from that radio show, and JJ from that radio show, and Brian Keller from Just BK, all on Spreaker, by the way, seemed to like the show, so that was kind of cool. So we thank them for dropping by. There's, I would say, plenty of people that disagree with me. You know what? That's all right. That's fine. That's fine. Just don't tell me to take my head out of my ass and then tell me later on, oh, yeah, and I respect your views. That doesn't cut it. Just doesn't cut it. Okay, just no. No. I'm going to take a little break. I know. It's too soon, right? This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. You're listening to the views expressed on Friday, the 11th of January, 2013. Hey, guess what? I'll be back after this. You were listening to the views expressed right here on the Liberty and Freedom Network.
Listen to Angel Clark Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Radio Freedom News Network. RadioFreedom.us.
Are you looking for an alternative to your normal everyday radio? Well, check out KTRNradio.com. Jay Towers and Brian Keller bring you everything that you ever wanted to know. And even if you didn't want to know it, go check out that radio show with your host, Jay Towers. I'm back. Reverend Wayne S. Pierce here to make a correction. Go check out that radio show. That radio show with your host, Nick Larson and JJ. Friday and Saturday at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. right here on Spreaker.com. You're listening to The Views Expressed. I am your host, Reverend Lane S. Pierce. We are going to discuss a few things. Because, you know, you can get involved too if you're in the chat room. Just pop something in there. Go ahead. Go to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. That's where we'll start the show today. We will go from there. Go to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. There is a picture from facebook.com/imageblitz. And it has 36 comments, 444 shares, and 571 people like this. It says, hey, liberals, since I'm pretty sure these guys aren't going to give up their guns, I won't be giving mine up either. You're going to have to see the picture for yourself. Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. You be the judge. Make the comment on the picture. There's another picture up there, actually from our local TV station here, KOLOTV.com. Armed men rape and stab employees during LA standoff. Yeah, is that a indictment against the Second Amendment? I don't know. Let me read the story. You be the judge. Police are checking, this is out of Los Angeles from the Associated Press. Police are checking surveillance cameras as they try to identify two armed men who took 14 employees hostage at a Nordstrom rack near Los Angeles International Airport. The men stabbed one employee and sexually assaulted another late Thursday before escaping during a 3-hour standoff with police. The store remained closed Friday as investigators looked for the suspects and interviewed the traumatized employees. Police responded around 11 p.m. Thursday after a man phoned 911 reported his girlfriend had called to say gunmen were in the store. SWAT members surrounded the location but weren't able to talk to anyone inside during the standoff. After 3 hours, they rushed inside. Officers searched the store but didn't find the gunman. Police haven't said whether anything was stolen. To me, folks, that's a little vague. Don't you think? Huh, little vague? I think so. Now, let me go back over there. There's another picture. Has a bunch of semi-automatic weapons there, rifles, and it says, I believe in man's right to choose. I would say amen to that one. There's another picture there, a liberal public school system explained. On the chalkboard behind two people, it says 2 + 2 equals spread the wealth. It has Obama equals communism equals cool. And it says Islam is greater than, you know, the little arrow pointing in the one to the right. Islam is greater than Christianity. It has another little blurb up there. It says, who needs oil? I ride the bus. It's looks like one of the characters from Beavis and Butthead. Not one of them, but another character. With a t-shirt with Che Rivera on it. Go look up who Che Rivera is. Che Rivera, I don't care. Has another kid in the classroom that says, support wounded warriors. The person with Che Rivera's shirt on says, you're being suspended for wearing such an offensive shirt. 4 comments. Not a joke anymore. This is what the schools have become. Another comment says, that looks like the teacher from Beavis and Butthead. That's because it is. So let me tell you something, and I'm going to be totally, absolutely honest here with y'all. Did I just go Southern there for a minute? I am going to tell you who Che Rivera was. And I'm going to tell you why people idolize him. Ernesto Che Rivera, born June 14th, 1928. Died October 9th, 1967, commonly known as El Che or simply Che, was an Argentine Marxist revolutionary, physician, author, guerrilla leader, diplomat, and military theorist. A major figure in the Cuban Revolution, his stylized visage has become a ubiquitous countercultural symbol of rebellion and global insignia within popular culture. As a young medical student, Che Guevara, actually, traveled throughout South America and was moved by the poverty, hunger, and disease he witnessed. His burgeoning desire to help overturn what he saw as a capitalist exploitation of Latin America by the United States prompted his involvement in Guatemala's social reforms under President Jacobo Arbenz, whose eventual CIA-assisted overthrow at the behest of the United Fruit Company solidified Guevara's political ideology. Later, while living in Mexico City, he met Raul and Fidel Castro, joined their 26th of July movement, and sailed to Cuba aboard the yacht Granma with the intention of overthrowing U.S.-backed Cuban dictator Fulgencio Batista. Rivera soon rose to prominence among the insurgents, was promoted to second in command, and played a pivotal role in the victorious two-year guerrilla campaign that disposed the Batista regime. Following the Cuban Revolution, Rivera performed a number of key roles in the new movement. These included reviewing the appeals of firing squads and for those convicted as war criminals during the revolutionary tribunals, instituting agrarian land reform as Minister of Industries, helping spearhead a successful nationwide literacy campaign, serving as both National Bank President and instructional director of Cuba's armed forces, and traversing the globe as a diplomat on behalf of Cuban socialism. Such positions also allowed him to play a central role in training the militia forces who repelled the Bay of Pigs invasion and bringing the Soviet nuclear-armed ballistic missiles to Cuba, which precipitated the 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis. Additionally, he was a prolific writer and diarist, composing a seminal manual on guerrilla warfare, along with the best-selling memoir about his youthful continental motorcycle journey. His experiences in studying of Marxism and Leninism led him to posit that the Third World's undevelopment and dependence was an intrinsic result of imperialism, neocolonialism, and monopoly capitalism, with the only remedy being proletarian internationalism and world revolution. In lieu of this, Rivera left Cuba in 1965 to foment revolution abroad, first unsuccessfully in Congo and Kinshasa, and later in Bolivia, where he was captured by CIA-assisted Bolivian forces and summarily executed. Rivera remains both a revered and reviled historical figure, polarized in the collective imagination in a multitude of biographies, memoirs, essays, documentaries, songs, and films. As a result of his perceived martyrdom, poetic invocations of class struggle, and desire to create the consciousness of a new man driven by moral rather than material incentives, he has evolved into the quintessential icon of various leftist-inspired movements. Time magazine named him one of the 100 most influential people in the 20th century, while an Alberto Corda photograph of him entitled Guerrilla Heroico Shown, which is on Wikipedia, was cited by the Maryland Institute College of Art as, quote, the most famous photograph in the world, unquote. It goes on to explain his early life and all of that. Now, why are people, I'm just curious, as to why someone would ever follow a leftist Marxist-Leninist philosophy like that. Oh, yeah, he did good things. He did. No. Okay. It went from Batista to Castro because things weren't quite all that great. Matter of fact, you can see a depiction of the overthrow of Havana in the movie Godfather. I think it's number 2. Yeah, Godfather 2. My whole point in reading that and describing this from the words on Wikipedia, like they're an authority of, all. My point is this. We have leftists right here in the United States. As a matter of fact, they're in the White House right now. They're the inner circle of the president puppet that we have currently. Not we, I should say. It's a president puppet that is controlling this country. The Muslim Brotherhood are a leftist organization. They are the most dangerous organization in the world, considering the fact that we also fund Al-Qaeda. Don't believe me? Go check it out. My point is this. Me being nonpartisan, because I don't believe any of the parties know what the hell they're doing anyway, and they're all bought off, so it doesn't really matter. We need to stand up as Americans and say enough is enough. We have to do it. We have to do it. We have to defend the Constitution and the Bill of Rights of the United States of America against enemies, foreign and domestic. I don't know where your head is at, and I don't know what you're thinking, but I'll tell you this much. It doesn't matter who brings the message out, whether it's Rush Limbaugh or Glenn Beck or Alex Jones or Josh Tolley or Michael Vera at LateNightInTheMidlands.com or me or any number of people. It does not matter. It is the message. When we get so caught up in personality, we forget the content. Or if we get so caught up in the content, we look at the person disseminating that content and we think, well, hey, wait a minute, we need to check this guy out. No. You're getting distracted by minute little things. We have to stay on point. And the message from me is we need to rise, stand, and defend the Constitution of the United States of America against enemies, foreign and domestic. Oh, but we don't have a Constitution anymore. The piece of paper can get shoved in the paper shredder and poured out as confetti on Pennsylvania Avenue. It doesn't really matter. You and I are the living, breathing Constitution. We know what we want. And we want liberty. We want freedom. We want to stand strong for other people who can't. We want a government that is efficient and effective. We need that. We want to get rid of the Internal Revenue Service and the Federal Reserve. We want to get rid of taxes. We want to get rid of all of that and start over again on a basis that was originally intended of, by, and for the people. We can't if we don't rise and stand and start defending ourselves. And if that means you have to call your representative's office, whether in Washington, D.C. or in your local capital, or even talk to your city council members or your county board of supervisors or any number of people in power in your area. If we got to flood their damn emails every day, every 5 minutes, every hour, every day, at 2 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, it doesn't matter. We have to make them aware of the fact that, number one, we know what they're doing. We are completely awake to their push to sell us down the river. We understand that. That's number one. Number two, we have to tell them that if they don't stop and start doing right by the people, we have to remind them that we are their boss. Then guess what? We need to tell them, number two, we need to tell them that their political careers are on the line. And if they want to stay a politician for the rest of their life or stay in Congress or whatever, we need to let them know we vote and we can vote them out of office. Basically, in short, we need to tell them what to do, not the other way around. So that's my little rant. It's not really a rant. I wanted to let you know what the difference between, someone who is prominent or was prominent as Che Guevara and that leftist organization that he supported, and what we the people demand and command of our leaders. We should demand and command our leaders. If we don't, we need to put out, not a petition, we need to go directly to the Capitol and say, we want a new vote. We want a new election now. What are they going to do if 100,000, 200,000, 500,000 people wind up in the capital city of your state? What are they going to do? Call out the National Guard? There's more of us than there are of them. Demand a new election. Get them out of office, put somebody in that's going to do what we tell them to do. Now, some people would say, well, geez, that sounds like the Bolsheviks when they overthrew the Tsars back in the early 1900s. We learn from the past. That went straight into communism. We want liberty and freedom. Two totally different animals. We want the Constitution and the Bill of Rights of the United States of America like our founding fathers intended it to be. But what are we going to do? What are we going to do? We're going to sit around and go, oh, yeah, that's nice. No. If, for any reason, you think I'm wrong, or if you think that wouldn't work, check it out. Start asking around. Ask people you run into. Ask your friends, your family, hey, what would you do if 10,000 people were walking down your street in your neighborhood with signs protesting what the government does, and they told you, hey, come along, we're going to City Hall, we're going to the Capitol, we're going to march downtown. What would you do? Going to sit there and go, no, I'm too busy watching Kim Kardashian. Yeah. That's what most people do. Oh, you go do it. I don't know. I get to the point where when people disagree with me or contradict me or tell me to get my head out of my ass, it makes me want to just explode and go off on them. But then I realize, wait a minute, why am I wasting energy on somebody who's completely and utterly distracted? No matter who it is, it doesn't really matter. But why should I waste my energy on going off on them when I should be going off on the people that distracted them? Okay? You see an accident out in your neighborhood and the cops ask you, what'd you see? And you may have seen the whole thing. But you're going to go, I really don't know. Why? Because you're afraid? Of what exactly are you afraid of? So, something to think about. It's incredible that people would go off on me and then turn around and say, I apologize, it's water under the bridge, and I respect you, but then their real thoughts were already out there in the beginning. How can they take that back? Oh, I'm pretty sure that's happened to you. Somebody, goes off on you and then the next day calls you up and goes, oh, well, I'm sorry, I was having a bad day. Their feelings are already out there. So, hey, after the bottom of the hour break, I'm going to take you back to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Before I go to break, I'm going to read this. This is from Uncle Sam's Misguided Children on Facebook. From Big City Cops on Facebook. This was posted by Uncle Sam's Misguided Children. But it's from Big City Cops on Facebook. The oath is to our Constitution, not some law of emotions, not some person with a title, not some group with an agenda. The time will soon come when your oath will be put to the test. Remember your oath. It's directly to the military and the law enforcement. Remember your oath. Okay? Just saying. Before I go to break, there's a video on Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Judge Napolitano. Obama administration wants to go beyond current gun control proposals. This was put up yesterday. I believe they do. And I got something to say about something I found out earlier today. Little something. Something I think you should all know about because, I would say prepare yourself. Seriously. Prepare yourself. This is the Liberty and Freedom Network. This is the Views Expressed live for the 11th of January 2012. I shall return right after this.
Tired of all the music shows on Spreaker? Too many sports shows? How about a show that matters? I recommend The Views Expressed Live. Reverend Wayne S. Pierce tells you what is really happening in the world. Well, stop listening to this and go listen to the show. The Views Expressed Live. 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific on Spreaker.com.
For the best Southern, classic, and new rock, along with kicking country and R&B, check out Wildcat Radio for the Friday night party. The fun begins at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, with local, state, and national news from the Alabama News Network at the top and bottom of every hour. It's Wildcat Radio's Friday night party, a division of the Vulcan Internet Broadcast Company.
Come join Reverend Laura Clemens and me, Reverend Wayne S. Pierce, on The Unnamed Show, Saturday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on Spreaker.com. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you. We are back. This is the 11th of January, 2013. I am your host, Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. This is the views expressed. You can email us at Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. You can go to the website freeamericaradio.wix. That's wix.com/the views expressed. Go check that out if you would, please. If you want to donate, you can. Over on the left-hand side of the website, there's a donate button. If you want to buy stuff, there's a store there. There's my book, Many Directions of Man. Check that one out. Just my observations of things going on in life and possible solutions. All that does, if you want to do all that, is keeps the website up and the show going. That's pretty much it. So, if you want to do that, that's great. Thank you. Appreciate the support. Awesome. In the chat room, we have Jeff from the Conservative Voice. Hey, thank you for stopping by. We also have the one and only Paranormal Phil with his show, PRT, Paranormal Talk, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 9 p.m. Pacific. Yes, so if you're into that, check out that show, PRT, Paranormal Talk, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 9 p.m. Pacific. And, a lot in common him and I have, because I'm also a paranormal investigator. So if you got things that go bump in the night, just email me. You can email me for that at Paranormal Explorer at USA.com. Paranormal Explorer at USA.com. So, yes, a little plug there for my group, Western Nevada Paranormal. And hang on just one second. There's going to be some dead air. Okay, I'm back. I'm sitting in front of my lamp, and it's just bugging the crap out of my eyes. Well, my lamp is up top on my little hutch on my desk, but enough of that. I digress. So anyway, hey, how y'all doing? My little thing that I found out today, and you might want to go check this out as well, is that there is an ammunition shortage. Yes, there is an ammunition shortage. I called a local gun retailer here in town in Reno, Nevada, and they said that they are rationing ammunition to customers at 200 rounds. Yes. They're ordering like crazy, but there's a lot of ammunition on back order, apparently. So they're rationing their ammo at 200 rounds per customer. If you want to go check out what somebody else has said about that, go to ammoland.com. And there's a link there on Liberty and Freedom Network that goes straight to there. And, of course, speaking of rationing, speaking of the Second Amendment, speaking of how Washington, D.C., the criminals up there are wanting to get rid of the Constitution, check this out. New York State now leading crusade against the Second Amendment. I wrote a little blurb right on top of that picture there, and I said, you will see a mass exodus of people leaving New York. They're already leaving New York. They're leaving a lot of states. People are leaving Illinois. People are leaving California. People are leaving New York. Hell, Glenn Beck went down to Texas. You know, he still has an office in New York, but he went down to Dallas, Texas. I got a cousin that lives down there, and you can walk around the town. Doesn't matter, man. I live in Nevada, open carry state. So, yeah. Another little article, a little picture of Ben Franklin that says, it is the first responsibility of every citizen to question authority. Amen. From InfoWars Social Network Coalition, it says, nationwide ammo shortage so severe that even cops can't buy bullets. Ammo rationing imminent. Yeah. And, of course, if you've seen Alex Jones on Piers Morgan on Monday, Piers Morgan had Larry Pratt of Gun Owners of America on. And Larry Pratt just slammed Piers Morgan over the sham gun control argument. Just Piers Morgan's eating his own words. But he's still wanting to get rid of the Constitution. He thinks it's a little book. Why don't that... Why, just... Enough. Just enough. U.S. soldier exposes American policies proving 9/11 fake. Lies, lies, lies. Well, 1,500 architects and engineers are not wrong. Wyoming lawmaker working to nullify any federal gun control law. That's from SpreadLibertyNews.com. And just a bunch of other things there I've got on Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Please check that out. Follow the page, all of that. I have a little blurb up there as well called The Final Word, more to the story than what meets the eye or ears. It's just a little something. And, of course, is anybody out there planning a trip to Disneyland or Disney World? From A Sheep No More on Facebook, Disney World's RFID tracking bracelets are slippery slope, warns privacy advocate. Yeah, go check that out. There is so much that we need to understand. And there are so many people, and this is just me, there are so many people that are still asleep that they can't even figure out how to tie their freaking shoes, okay? I'm serious. How can anyone not see what's going on? That's a good question. Ask your friends that. How can you not see what's going on? Jeff at Conservative Voice says, that too funny. I'm a psychomotorist. What? Fill me in on what that is. That sounds familiar, but fill me in on what that is there, Jeff. Paranormal Phil said, and on the 21st, he says he will have on his show, PRT Paranormal Talk, he will have the author of the book called Destination Dealey, Countdown to the Kennedy Conspiracy. Thought I would let you know. Hey, thank you very much. Appreciate that. And, of course, Daryl Dillard, back again. How you doing, Daryl? Awesome. I want to switch gears just for a second and ask any tech people out there who use Google Chrome. When I click on a tab, like I'm going to do right now, I'll tell you what's there. I don't know how to get rid of My Start by Incredibar. I went to the tools, I went to the settings, I went to... Can you tell me how to get rid of that piece of crap? I don't want it there. I want to see my apps that I had originally on there, and I can't seem to get rid of My Start by Incredibar. That's a piece of garbage. But also, just to let you know, that excuse me, that I've tried to sign into my Skype, I think, few too many times, and they locked me out till tomorrow. Yeah, thank you, Microsoft, who now owns Skype. So I've got Oovoo. OOVOO. I've got that. So I got a backup. I'll try to figure that out and how to take calls on that. Jeff from Conservative Voice says, describing himself as a psychomotrist, it's a person who can read energy from objects. Oh, psychometrist. Oh, sorry. Like on the show Psychic Investigator. Yeah, it's a psychometrist. Yeah, I know. I'm also clairvoyant medium and a remote viewer. So, yeah. Somebody said, well, how come the government hasn't come and got you yet? Well, they're not. It's just the way it is. I'm also former military, so there you go. Yeah. Enough said there. I don't want to put my foot in my mouth. There's a picture on Liberty and Freedom Network. You got to scroll down to see it. It says, for 200 years, the Constitution has been misunderstood. It's a picture of Obama looking like Stalin. Somebody put his head on Stalin's thing, and I think it's Stalin. Not sure. And the picture continues and says, my executive orders will straighten all that out. No, they won't there, Mr. President. So anyway, I feel, it's just my opinion, just going to put it out there, just going to lay it out for you so you can draw your own conclusions on this. When I look at people like Glenn Beck, Alex Jones, all those folks, I question some of the things they say because, I'm hearing them. I hear them in the morning and stuff like that. And I hear what they say, and I'm going, and if it sounds too far-fetched, like, oh, my God, that wouldn't, no. No, I question them. I go look it up. It's the only way to learn. But they say some very accurate things. And here's the criticism I get. I get the criticism that, yeah, they say, the right things, and they tell you what's going to happen when it happens. I mean, how do they know? The criticism that I get from other people is because they're connected with the people that they're bashing. They're connected through some sort of, Jesuit order or some sort of, Department of Homeland Security connection or whatever, Could it not be just sheer, investigative journalism? Oh, no, these people tell me, no, they're connected. They are? Really? Seriously? Give me documents. I want documents. I want business licenses. I want names. I want numbers. I want connections. I want the dots connected. So send me all that information that you have. Because obviously, people who criticize me and say stuff like that may have more information than I have. Okay? So please send that to Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Yeah, I'm serious. Send me business licenses. Send me numbers. Send me documents. Send me Washington connections that Glenn Beck has or whatever. I mean, whatever you have, I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I will be the first to admit it because, hey, I don't know everything. I'd be bored because there wouldn't be anything else to learn. So help me out. I want, give me everything. I mean, Alex Jones went to New York on Monday to be on the Piers Morgan show. He said that on the way back to his hotel room, he was followed by, and he could tell that they were working for, the FBI or whoever, because of the way they approached him and all that. And he walked into the hotel lobby and he saw people looking at him over papers, that kind of thing. Other people, now, granted, I wasn't there. I don't know if he's telling the truth or not. But with the credibility that he has and everything that he's hit is accurate, yeah, I'm prone to believe him. But this other person that criticizes me for the fact that I listened to Alex Jones says, no, he didn't say that. That's a bunch of bull. Were you there? Do you have someone calling you from the hotel saying that never happened? Well, because if they say that, that, no, they're not going to tell you the truth. Of course they're not. So the criticism towards me is that I shouldn't, or the result of the criticism towards me is that I shouldn't listen to Alex Jones or Glenn Beck or any number of those types of people. Why not? Well, I'll tell you why. It's all about control. It's all about the guy, the person, the organization that is saying, you're going to look at me because I have all the right answers. Don't look at anything else but me. This is what they're saying. And I've seen websites saying that Alex Jones was connected to Jesuit order and Charlie Sheen and all this, that, and the other thing. I've seen the website. And believe me, I've seen cartoons made better than that website. I listened to 5 minutes of a program on a network here on the internet. And I'll name names, I don't care. Dr. Leonard Horowitz and Sherry Kane said, don't listen to Alex Jones because he's connected. Here's the proof. He's psyops, he's fed, he's this, he's that, right? So I listened to about 5 minutes of that show. And, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I'm going, okay, I'll listen to it. After 5 minutes, I went, these two people are full of dog poo. Okay? Because I went to the website. They had a link there. No, whole 9 yards went there. Yeah, like I said, I've seen old 90s anime look better than this stupid website. Seriously. Jeff at Conservative Voice here in the chat room says 100,000 new NRA members, 2.8 million background checks in December. Exactly. In 1 month alone, I think it was last October, maybe a little later than that, maybe, I'm not sure. In 1 month alone, the FBI said, and you can go look this up at the FBI website. In 1 month alone, there were 5 million background checks. Okay? Can we put 2 and 2 together, folks? 2 plus 2 is 4 in my book. Still is, But can we put 2 and 2 together? Let's see. DHS, National Weather Service, NOAA, the Department of the TSA, the Department of Interior. Let's see. 1.6 billion rounds of ammunition. Okay, let's see. Bulletproof and damage proof or whatever. Checkpoint booths. Okay. TSA now rolling out into not only the airports where they started, but they're rolling out into train stations, bus stations. Let's see. All of that. That's the first number 2 in that equation. Plus, let's see, citizens getting prepared with backpacks full of food and clothing and medical supplies and storing up ammunition and buying more guns. And let's see, 2 plus 2 equals 4. Yeah, I would say revolution number 2 is coming. I could be wrong. I couldn't be misinterpreting what I'm seeing, but yeah. No. It's going to happen, folks. Have you seen on the mainstream news how they totally ignore those stories where that woman in Texas, the off-duty cop, shot that guy in the Texas movie theater after he was shooting everybody in the other building? And what about that mother who the house was getting broke into? She grabbed her kids, went to the hiding place. She had her gun. The guy found her, and she blasted him 5 times. Oh, he's not dead, but I bet he's not going to do that line of work anymore. I don't think the mainstream news wants you to know anything about people protecting themselves with legally purchased and protected firearms, protected under the Second Amendment. They don't want you to know that. They don't want you to know that because they want control, absolute, positive control. Just, I wouldn't say positive. It's nothing positive about it. They want absolute control, period. NRA chief lobbyist Chris Cox, on meeting with Joe Biden's task force, said it was nothing more than a dog and pony show. Okay? The NRA met with Vice President Joe Biden's gun violence task force on Thursday, but the group did not have any positive things to say about the talks. In a statement, the group said it was disappointed, saying Biden's group displayed an agenda to attack the Second Amendment. In an exclusive interview with American Life Today, Megyn Kelly spoke with the NRA's chief lobbyist, Chris Cox, who reiterated that the meeting with Biden's task force did not go the way he hoped it would. Quote, it became very clear very early that they weren't looking to hear from gun owners. They were looking to blame gun owners, unquote. That's on Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. You can go check that out. And, of course, nanny staters in New York. Anybody you know in New York? I have family in New York. And I'm sorry, silence there. I was just reading stuff out of the chat room. So anyway, Police State USA Land of the Checkpoints on Facebook. Police State USA Land of the Checkpoints on Facebook. New York City to restrict prescription painkillers in public hospitals' emergency rooms. The nanny staters continue to tighten the noose of control by always finding a new way to ban or restrict. Now hospitals in New York will be heavily restricted on obtaining painkillers, not allowed to have more than a few days' supply on hand. Instead of backing off of a war on drugs, these control freaks march forward with more failed prohibition laws. Under the new city policy, most public hospital patients will no longer be able to get more than 3 days' worth of narcotic painkillers like Vicodin or Percocet. Long-acting painkillers, including OxyContin, a familiar remedy for chronic backache and arthritis, as well as fentanyl patches and methadone, will not be dispensed at all. And lost, stolen, or destroyed prescriptions will not be refilled. Quote, here is my problem with legislative medicine, says Dr. Alex Rosenau, President-elect of the American College of Emergency Physicians and Senior Vice Chairman of the Emergency Medicine at Lehigh Valley Health Network in eastern Pennsylvania. Quote, it prevents me from being a professional and using my judgment, unquote. While someone could fake a toothache to get painkillers, he said, another patient might have legitimate pain and not be able to get an appointment at a dental clinic for days. Or, he said, a patient with a hand injury may need more than 3 days of pain relief until the swelling goes down and an operation could be scheduled. Yeah, go check on that on Liberty and Freedom Network. I want to read you my little blurb from one of my notes there on Facebook. It was posted yesterday at around 7:30 at night. Now, I want you all to know that this is going to be vague. It's no names mentioned, no nothing, but this is just, and this may have happened to you at some point, okay? So this might be something that you can relate to. I said, well, it seems that the ignorance never ceases. It seems that people cannot and will not stop implying that I am somehow uneducated in regards to what is going on, who's doing what, how things are, etc. It seems that people on certain radio shows cannot see that I know what I'm talking about in regards to what it is I present on my online radio show or on my Facebook page. A little background briefly. I was on a certain forum, clicked on a subject, read the subject, and responded. I was told, in not so many words, but in exact words, that I should pull my head out of my ass. Well, I have since unfriended that person, deleted him from my email contacts, and will not listen to their particular online radio show they have. Also, it's amazing to me that people love to tell me I'm wrong, or that I don't do enough research to find out for myself who is co-intel or who is not. Just amazing. I mentioned that earlier. For the most part, from now on, I will never, accept what people tell me or take it at face value. Let me interject. I never have. I've always questioned people who think that, if they know more than I do, I question them. I learn. If they want to contradict me, they have to prove themselves right and put the stuff on the table. Let's see it. Stop pointing fingers and judging me and criticizing me for something you don't understand. Prove to me that you're right. It's not going to necessarily mean I'm wrong. It just means that, hey, I may have overlooked something. So if you got something more than I have, please put it on the table. Thank you very much. If not, bye-bye. Have a nice day. Let me continue. I said, if people tell me I'm wrong and contradict me in some way, like I just said, prove yourself right. Hey, I have to prove myself. I have to prove to myself that what I say is accurate and correct to the best of my knowledge, don't I? Well, I guess people think I'm stupid, blind, etc., and also think that they think I have my head in my wazoo most of the time. Too bad. I just feel sorry for people like that. Hope you all have a great week and a great weekend. A friend of mine told me, literally, that people have a right to say what they say. I agree. People have a right to say what they say. I'm in total agreement with that. What I'm saying for me, that if someone contradicts me, guess what? They're going to have to prove themselves right. If not, bye. Have a nice day. Hope you enjoyed your stay. Anyway. Taking the top of the hour break. It's a long break. One of my long breaks of the evening. So if you got to do what you got to do, I suggest going and doing it. We shall see you back here. And I like to tell people how long it's going to be. It's going to be over 6.5 minutes. So if you got to do what you got to do in that time, go for it, because, I am. Hey, we shall be back right after this. Calvin Wheeler is an American dreamer in a triple threat cage match with his two biggest adversaries, everyday life and himself. His marriage to the woman he believed to be his soulmate is rapidly evaporating before his eyes. The book he's been working on for over a decade is slipping through his fingers as he struggles to complete it. As these pressures grow, Calvin compensates by conjuring up outrageous road rage scenarios in the multiplex of his mind. To make matters even worse, he drives for a living. As his life, job, and dreams simultaneously implode, his wild fantasies begin to literally bleed over into reality. Now, with a gun in one hand and a steering wheel in the other, this distant runner-up in the human race feels empowered for the very first time. And the moral to the story? Traffic can be murder. Red Asphalt by Scott Cherney. Available on the Kindle and in paperback at Amazon.com. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the king of all dorks. Go listen to the Chris Top program right here on Spreaker.com.
A communications disruption can mean only one thing: invasion.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
Welcome back to the Views Expressed right here on the Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting live on Spreaker.com. This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. You're listening to the Views Expressed live. If you're listening to me in the podcast, then email us. Or email me. I keep saying us. Well, yeah, there's you, there's me, there's a whole bunch of us. Yeah, go ahead. Email me at libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com. libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com. This is the 11th of January, 2013. Go to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Check things out there, if you would, please. It is what it is. Yes. There's a lot of things that I think, and I could be wrong, there are a lot of things that I think we've overlooked. Okay? On Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook, there's a video entitled The True Source of Random and Mass Shootings and Violence. Okay. Now, there's also another video. U.S. soldier exposes American policies proving 9/11 a fake. Lies, lies, lies. People tell me, well, you got to remember hundreds of people were killed. Yeah, my heart goes out to them and their families. But I talked about it on the earlier show, Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show, this morning at 10 p.m. My view, bottom line is 9/11 was an inside job. You know, eyewitnesses, not so much in court, but when they say, and they can prove, or have proven, that it wasn't commercial jetliners, yeah, that's when the big red flags go off in my head. When 3 firemen come out of the building and say they've heard, 1, 2, 3, 4 explosions from beneath the building or just above them, and it's one said it was all over. It was just all around them. Yeah, kind of makes me, I don't know, kind of makes me step back and say, maybe the official story was wrong. Socialism is the enemy of all free people. That is I should put that on a bumper sticker and sell that. Because it's true. Got another picture on Liberty and Freedom Network if you'd like to go there and check it out. Guns didn't kill 6 million Jews, but their government did. Gun control made the Holocaust possible. Yeah, go back, search it. It's in history. It's right there. Hitler basically said, hey, we're going to help out. We want you to help out. We're going to help you out. Okay, you need to register your guns. We're going to, whatever. A year later, he went and rounded them all up, took all the guns. And yeah, in some estimates, there were over 5.5 to 6 million Jews killed in the camps. Yeah, people couldn't defend themselves. Go figure. I like this from Uncle Sam's Misguided Children. You can go to facebook.com, TC Guns and Carry. Facebook.com/TC Guns and Carry. This is from Minnesotans for the right to keep and bear arms. Minnesota 2A.com. It's posted on Facebook by Uncle Sam's Misguided Children. The Second Amendment is not negotiable. In this perilous time of threats to our rights and the threats to the rich tradition of liberty on which this country was founded, I pledge to oppose any elected official who supports gun control by any means, procedural or substantive, which results in the infringement of rights of law-abiding citizens. I pledge to not only help defeat any elected official who supports gun control, but I will proactively support the campaign for their opponent. I pledge to be vocal and not acquiesce to being marginalized when I've done nothing wrong, or to be used as a scapegoat for the behavior of criminals and the deranged. No compromise. That's Minnesota2A.com. Facebook.com/TC Guns and Carry. Now, it goes on to say, we will also hold you accountable to speak out vocally and publicly against any attempts by President Obama or other officials to implement executive orders which violate our constitutional rights or which attempt to disarm law-abiding citizens. And if you do not do so, we will consider you to be complicit in and responsible for that action. No compromise. It says here, copy and paste this pledge and email it to your local state and U.S. elected officials. Post the picture below on your representative's Facebook page. Share and ask your 2A friends to do the same. Second Amendment. Contact your representatives and insist that they oppose any legislation which infringes upon the rights of law-abiding citizens, and tell them that you expect them to speak out vocally and publicly against any attempts by President Obama to implement executive orders which violate our constitutional rights or which attempt to disarm law-abiding citizens, and that if they do not do so, you will consider them complicit in and responsible for that action. Sounds good to me. What about you? Yeah. Going back to 9/11. The 6 months prior, about February and March of 2001, there was this show, a spinoff of the X-Files called The Lone Gunman. And in the episode that they had, they showed a remote-controlled plane hitting or going towards the World Trade Centers. And at the last minute, one of the lone gunmen, who was a computer whiz, turned off the remote, and the pilots took control of the plane, and it didn't crash into the building. There's a lot of movies out there, Hunger Games, The Dark Knight Rises, all these movies out there that depict the Patriots, you and I, the gun-toting, Bible-thumping, yes, I said it, the Patriots, the people that want liberty and freedom, the people that want to stand on the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. These movies depict us as deranged, insane individuals. I think that's why we call the movie capital of the world Hollyweird, because they're weird. Actors and actresses and entertainers have come out in recent weeks saying pretty much to get rid of the Second Amendment. Any restriction whatsoever against my right to carry my weapon is an infringement upon my right to carry that weapon, and therefore I consider the other person and what they say to be, well, their decree to get rid of the Second Amendment. I make no apologies. I make no apologies at all. I want liberty and freedom. And I'm not like Mao saying, that something to the effect that freedom comes at the end of a barrel of a gun. No. I do what I do, say what I say, and make no apologies for it. Basically, if people are respectful to me and engage in a decent, rational conversation with me about issues, I'll sit there all day long and talk to them. But if they're going to point fingers and accuse me of not, being able to pull my head out of my wazoo, then I'm not going to give them the time of day. Especially when it comes to my Second Amendment rights. Well, let me just put it to you this way. When it comes to the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, if you consider it like Piers Morgan did earlier, a little book, a little, something, just, he needs to go away. He needs to go away. Now, there's all sorts of issues that I can cover within the next 14 minutes. But I can go from one direction to the other, up one side, down the other, but, I won't. From Police State USA, land of the checkpoints on Facebook, Obama signs law giving himself and G.W. Bush subsidized armed guards for life. Clinton signed a bill eliminating that. That was in 1994. You can go to www.govtrack.us/Congress/bills/112/HR6620, or go to Liberty and Freedom Network, Click on the picture with a bunch of guys in glasses around President Obama. Go to the right of that picture and you'll see the link. As the nation awaits Obama's actions to restrict Americans' rights to gun ownership, President Obama granted himself a team of heavily armed, federally subsidized Secret Service agents that will follow him and his wife around for the rest of their lives. Other elites who will receive this benefit are George W. Bush and his wife. I wonder why. Let's start another conspiracy theory, shall we? Did Papa Bush, King Bush the First, George H.W. Bush get together with other people and, kind of have a confab together and say, well, here's what we need to do? I don't know. I have no clue. It's getting to the point, folks, where we got to do something. Yeah, I can sit here on my talk show for 2 hours and tell you, hey, we got to do this. This is what's happening, yada, yada, yada. You got to take the action you got to take the situation in your own hands and take the action needed to protect yourself and your family. Now, how are you going to do that? Actually, you have to ask yourself, why should I do it at this point? Well, if you don't, somebody will, and, well, FEMA camp awaits. Thomas Jefferson said, quote, if the American people ever allow private banks to control the issue of their currency, first by inflation, then by deflation, the banks and corporations that will grow up around them will deprive the people of all property until their children wake up homeless on the continent their fathers conquered. That's why I asked you that. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? So many things. Oregon man openly carries rifle around Portland neighborhood to make a point. That's on theblaze.com. I didn't read that yesterday. So I think I'll read it today as soon as it comes up. There we go. 2 Oregon men carrying semi-automatic rifles on their backs caused alarm and even prompted a learning center to go into lockdown on Wednesday, but the men said they were just exercising their Second Amendment right to bear arms in public. Warren D-R-O-U-I-N, and Stephen Boyce, both 22, were spotted walking around a Portland neighborhood around 2 p.m., their weapons in full view. KATU-TV reported police were called, but because Oregon state law permits the open carry of firearms, the men weren't breaking any laws. Doran and Boyce said they were just trying to normalize the image of illegally carrying weapons in public. Quote, I just want to educate people that it's okay, however, you want to carry or not at all, Boyce told KATU. Both parents and others in the neighborhood were disturbed and upset by the display, which came less than a month after a gunman used a semi-automatic rifle to massacre 20 children and 6 adults at an elementary school in Newtown, Connecticut. See how they like to slip that in there? Quote, that's not the purpose of the Second Amendment, to frighten citizens, to frighten women and children, unquote. Susan Anglada Bartley, the mother of a 9-month-old girl, told the station, quote, and I don't think there's anyone who can argue, especially after the tragedy where so many children were killed. Nobody can argue that it's not scary to have people marauding around Selwood with guns, unquote. It also happened the same day Vice President Joe Biden suggested President Barack Obama could take, quote-unquote, executive action to crack down on guns. Quote, it's completely ridiculous. Bob Cronk said of Duran and Boyce's actions, quote, I think our right to peaceful, quiet school day comes before their right to brandish their rifles in a family-oriented neighborhood, unquote. Duran's YouTube account under the name Marked Guardian contains dozens of videos of him walking around with his AR-15 strapped to his back and his encounters with law enforcement. He describes himself as a constitutional guardian and activist trying to normalize firearms in public. Quote, I believe that carry a rifle daily will bring a strong culture in the area, unquote, he says. And there's a video in the article. I want to say this. I live in Nevada. It's an open carry state. If your state is an open carry state, do it. Except for California. California has literally banned every single weapon that you can ever think of. Oh, wait. No, they didn't. Technically, they overregulated it, so people will go, well, geez, I can't carry one anyway. Yeah. What, you think criminals obey gun laws? Where do you think these criminals get the guns? They steal them. Yeah. They break into your house and steal your weapon. Why? Because you're not able to carry it out in public. By the way, correct me if I'm wrong. And if there's any attorneys out there, please email me with the answer. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Doesn't the Constitution and the Bill of Rights in Washington, D.C., ratified December 15th, 1791 by the people then, have precedent over every state? Or are we too politically correct and paranoid that each state had to come up with its own constitution limiting people's freedom? Good question, huh? Email me, Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. I have not yet seen crime go up where guns for the citizens are prevalent. Go to the FBI website and look at their statistics. It'll prove it. The more guns the law-abiding citizens have, the less crime there is. Hey, if you don't know that the guy walking towards you has a gun, are you going to try to rob him? That would be kind of stupid, wouldn't it? Just saying. Now, getting on to something else. Let's go to yahoo.com, shall we? Oh my God. Yeah. There's that. Okay. My browser decided to burp. It's one of those things. Yahoo.com. U.S. Right here at the news section. Images of dead bin Laden still dangerous. U.S. lawyer. Washington. Coming out of Reuters. 20 months after U.S. Special Forces killed bin Laden, the United States told the court on Thursday it's not ready to release the images taken after the al-Qaeda leader's death because they still might lead to violence. Excuse me, a-holes. Let me just clear this up right now. Yahoo News is part of the establishment, and they will not tell you the truth at all. On record, doctors have come out in 2001 and 2002 have said that Osama bin Laden was on kidney dialysis at a hospital in Dubai, and they worked on him for a couple of months, and he passed away. Okay, so all the videos that have come out after that with him in it, by the way, if you see a picture of him with a gray beard and him with a colored hair and a darker beard, look at the eyes, look at the cheeks. It's two different people. If you look at the videos and examine the videos that come out with him in it talking, by the way, all those videos were done by the CIA. Go through all the technical crap you want. Put it in a video machine. Look at all the underlying little signals and everything else. Yeah. Going on with this article, the Federal Appeals Court heard arguments in a lawsuit over whether the government must release the images under the Freedom of Information Act, a 1966 law that guarantees public access to some government records. President Barack Obama's administration points to an exception in the law that covers documents classified in the interest of national defense. Let me just take those two little lines right there and tell you. Pretty much that's, they're slipping this in there as a psychological operation. And I'll tell you why. Let me read this again and I'll point it out to you. Federal Appeals Court heard arguments in a lawsuit over whether the government must release images under the Freedom of Information Act. Should have stopped right there, but no, they wanted to add this little caveat. A 1966 law that guarantees public access to some government records. PSYOP. President Barack Obama's administration points to an exception in the law. You got that? That covers documents classified in the interest of national defense. In other words, anything that they decide is, for national defense and that they're not going to release it, they'll just say it. They won't write anything out. They'll just say it because they don't want a paper trail. Robert Loeb, the Justice Department lawyer, said, quote, they'll be used to inflame tensions. They'll be used to inspire retaliatory attacks, unquote. Riots or other forms of violence could threaten American soldiers as well as civilians in Afghanistan, Loeb said. Yeah. Yeah. Bottom line is, folks, the bottom line is no matter what, my recommendation is question everything. Question everything. Hell, people always tell me, well, geez, you tell people they need to prove themselves right. Why not you? Duh. I do it too. Like I said before, I got to find, when I read the stuff, I got to go, hey, this doesn't make, okay, let me look this up. You know what I'm saying? I'm with you there, Brian. I want proof too. But I see it. And I've seen it. And Diana and I talked about it this morning. I've seen it. It's there. It's right there. I kept looking at that going, this is unbelievable. I'm talking about 2001, September 11th. This just couldn't happen. I woke up Tuesday morning, September 11th. I remember that day quite clearly. I woke up out of a sound sleep going, something happened. I don't know what it was. I have no clue, but it just felt like hundreds of people vanished off the face of the planet like that. I went outside, and the dog's looking at me like with this look of, what? You're up this early? I looked over to the east, and my dad was out, because my dad's up like at 5 o'clock in the morning. And I told him, I said, something happened. I don't know what's going on, but something just happened. 6:15 in the morning, I was going to get married that day. Can you really believe that I was going to get married that day? My fiancée at the time called me, now my second ex-wife, called me at 6:15 in the morning and said, turn on the news. So I turned it on, and I'm looking, and I'm watching, and here's this building burning up. I told my dad, I called my dad in the thing, and I'm watching and stuff, and he's like, what? And I said, yeah, there was and then the other plane came and hit the building, and he just said a few choice words and walked out. Then, over and over and over again, trying to make sense of it, I looked at the videos. They're all on YouTube. Go look it up. Different perspectives of the same thing. The camera on the ground looking up when the plane hit the building. The couple in an apartment across the way, and they see the building burning and the other plane hitting the tower. There's different perspectives of this. I've watched it over and over and over and over and over, trying to make sense of this. And I've watched documentaries about controlled implosions. Guess what? Same freaking thing. And of course, whistleblowers came out and said Dick Cheney told the military to stand down. It was only a drill. And the other little thing that threw a question mark in my mind was, How the hell within 12 hours, not even that, within 10 hours, they already knew who it was, how many it was, where they came from, who supported them? Excuse me? Jeez, if they could find that information out that quickly, why can't they find missing children that quickly? It was an inside job. The attack on the USS Cole by that little boat that went into the side of it and blew up. Inside job. That was the Yemen, over in Yemen, several years ago. The Beirut bombing that killed over 200 Marines. Inside job. Why? Let's see. 1991. Bush went in to Iraq, to Kuwait, really, and spent 55 days with the military there beating up on Saddam Hussein's army. Didn't get Saddam Hussein. By the way, George H.W. Bush, former president of the United States, 88 to 92, was former CIA, so he had a lot of connections. We set Saddam Hussein up in power through the Ba'ath Party in the early 70s. Go look it up. So Papa Bush didn't get the job done that he was sent to do, or that he was told he had to get done. So Bush the second went in and got it done for him. The game changed a little bit when they found him in that rat hole near in his hometown of Kirkuk. And why in the world were those cell phone videos of Saddam Hussein being brought out to the gallows and having a rope wrapped around his neck? Why were all those people in black hoods? I don't see any tradition in the Muslim world that says that all of your executioners have to be in black hoods. Can you say CIA operation? Well, this can all be backed up by declassified and documents and whistleblowers coming out later on. I agree with you. Saudi Arabia is not our friend. Saudi Arabia was signed on to, well, let's just say, to the American dollar as the reserve currency because we needed the oil. Scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. So they signed on to it, and it was the worst thing they ever did. If they wouldn't have, you think our gas at the pump would be anywhere near $3 a gallon? No. Take it from me, I've researched this whole thing. Remember the gas crisis, the fuel crisis in the 70s? Cars lined up. You've seen videos of that. Cars lined up for miles. I remember in 1975, a gallon of gas was 57 cents a gallon. I remember when I graduated high school in 1980, a gallon of gas was 98 cents, 97 to 98 cents. It was in 1981, the close of 1981, that it went over $1. And people back then were going, what the hell's going on? You want to know what's going on? Pastor Lindsey Williams.net. Gave you a website. Let me go to it. Make sure it's the right one for you. How's that? LindseyWilliams.net. Yep, right there. Lindsey Williams. Pastor Lindsey Williams unveils the truth behind the elite plan for humanity and this planet. Now, some people say that he's wrong. And some people say that his elite connection in the oil company that is still alive had to, or is wrong, and they had to change their way of doing things. You know why? Because we woke up. We became aware going, wait a minute, something's wrong. So check that out. I will put that link in Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Please check that out. Regardless of whether or not you want to agree or disagree or agree to disagree, which I think is lame, I think we all have to take every piece of information we can, sift through it, look at it, and draw our own conclusions and make up our own minds. You agree? I don't know. The thing that just stretches my common sense to the nth degree is the fact that people cannot wrap their minds around the prospect or the possibility that our government actually stages all of these things to get us into war. Hey, they did it in, where was it? They did it in Vietnam. Did you know that the first shot fired in the Civil War on Fort Sumter was based upon a false flag event? Don't believe it? Hey, if you have Netflix, it's only $8 a month. Go look for Ken Burns' Civil War. Great documentary. I would, yes, definitely. By the way, Diana's kids work in Montana, and they go over to North Dakota, and guess what? From Montana all the way down into Utah and some parts of those areas down there, guess what? There is enough oil there to last us about, on average, about 1,000 to 1,500 years. They work for ConocoPhillips. And the question, of course, has been asked, why don't we use the reserves? This is the United States we're talking about, the federal government, the Department of Interior, the oil companies, the big wigs, you know. They want to screw every other country and take everything they have so that we can occupy them, so that, you know, we break down their strengths. Then we take everything they have and then we just go, oh, well, we don't have to use ours now. What those idiots don't realize is all that's going to go away after a while. And people aren't as stupid as they think. So I would open up the reserves. Yeah. I would. I would literally go up into Congress, stand there and say, listen, the people voted you here. They voted to put you here. The people did, not you, not lobbyists, not special interest groups. No, the people voted you to be here. You do what the people say, or I will accept your resignation on my desk in 72 hours. And then I'd tell the lobbyists and the special interest groups, your services are no longer required. Well, how is anything going to get done? Somebody asked me that. I was working one day, and I told somebody that we don't need lobbyists or special interest groups. They need to go away. And that guy goes, well, how is anything going to get done? I said, by the people. He looked at me and turned around and walked away. Hey, it was done by the people up until 1913. Actually, earlier than that. I think it was after Grant's presidency, I think. Some people said that Grant was really corrupt. But yeah, the people decide. And I think we allowed everybody else, all these lobbyists and special interest groups, to be a part of the election process after 1913. I could be wrong, but I think that's what it was. Exactly. Brian, open up the reserves and they wouldn't have us by the balls. Then we can tell Saudi Arabia, get the hell out of our country. We don't need them. I go to break because I missed the bottom of the hour. We go to break. I shall be back right after this.
Tired of all the music shows on Spreaker? Too many sports shows? How about a show that matters? I recommend The Views Expressed Live. Reverend Wayne S. Pierce tells you what is really happening in the world. Well, stop listening to this and go listen to the show. The Views Expressed Live. 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific on Spreaker.com.
For the best Southern, classic, and new rock, along with kicking country and R&B, check out Wildcat Radio for the Friday night party. The fun begins at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, with local, state, and national news from the Alabama News Network at the top and bottom of every hour. It's Wildcat Radio's Friday night party, a division of the Vulcan Internet Broadcast Company.
Come join Reverend Laura Clemens and me, Reverend Wayne S. Pierce, on The Unnamed Show, Saturday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on Spreaker.com. This is The Views Expressed right here for the 11th of January 2013. You can email the show at Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Go to the website freeamericaradio.wix. That's WIX.com/The Views Expressed. Yes, I'm glad you're here. I know I'm glad I'm here. Where else would I be on a Friday night, right? Yeah, who knows? Hey. BK in the chat room asked me, who do I think was the best president? There's it's a toss-up between Kennedy and Reagan. Oh, you don't like Reagan? Reagan raised taxes. In his second term, yeah. I think. I could be wrong. Maybe the last half of his second term. But there's a lot. I really can't judge America by the presidents. I judge America by Congress because they are the ones that actually, approve everything. The president's like, well, if you think this is good, I'll sign off on it. There you go. It's a law now. So, but, all I got to say is we need term limits. But HJ Resolution, House Joint Resolution 15, might do away with that if Obama has his way. If he uses executive order to sign HJ Resolution 15 into law, there'll be no more term limits and he can set himself up as a dictator. I do believe in term limits. I believe that it should be 6 years for a president, 6 years for all Congress members. Oh, if you want to run for re-election, tough. I mean, I'm sure you can work it out, But you think about it. Think about it. Why do you want people in there as professional politicians sucking up all your money and taking money from, special interest groups and lobbyists to try to get stuff for their state? Hey, if you scratch my back, I'll give you $100,000 for a park downtown. That kind of thing. Why do you want that? You know what I want? I want the military home right now. All of them. From everywhere. Put them right here. And by the way, we need to get out of and kick the UN out of here. Okay? We do. The UN and the State Department worked together several years ago after 9/11, 2001, to allow foreign military to be on our soil. What, you don't think they're here? No, they're here training with law enforcement. So that when they go back to their country, they can handle some of the law enforcement, activities that are there. Really? No, they're not. Sorry. They're working through the Department of Homeland Security. They're working through the Pentagon. They're working through the UN. I mean, it's right there. I wouldn't say that if I didn't see it myself. Oh yeah, and 6 years for the governor and 6 years for the mayor. Everybody, 6 years. This is across the board. The only people that should be able to be reelected are the sheriffs of the counties and the police commissioner. That's it. I think the police commissioner is an appointed position. I'm not sure. But yeah. Because you want fresh blood in there. You want fresh faces, new ideas, right? Hell, the president can't get anything done in 4 years. You know how fast 4 years goes. Poof, it's gone, He's on his second term now. What's he going to do? Well, he's a lame duck president. He's going to sign all these executive orders, taking away our rights, probably going to set himself up as a dictator, and then we're all screwed. Prepare yourself, folks. It's going to be a bumpy ride. Yep. Department of Homeland Security has a branch called TSA. And guess what? They're all over the place now. Oh, they're not in my city. You're wrong. Just wait. Just wait. They'll be there. They'll be there with the checkpoints, all that. Oh, by the way, you can go look on YouTube. Speaking of which, go look on YouTube and look up military assists law enforcement in sobriety checks. And just look that up. It's right there. Seriously. Anyway. Wow, we got 10 minutes. Did this 2 hours fly by like nothing? Holy crap. I mean, geez. We got like 9 minutes. I started early today and I played some music because I've got 20 minutes worth of music block here on my on my panel. I started early. Throw some music in there. TSA is already at sporting events, by the way, and they were there at the a couple of weeks ago at the football game. Drones were flying around. They had TSA there. People were all pissed off. We need to boycott all those people, such as actors and actresses who don't want the Second Amendment. We need to protest all these games, boycott all these games. Go out to these games. Take a bunch of your friends and go out there and protest these sporting events and say, get TSA out of here. We don't want, and just go out there. But I'm afraid to get arrested. That's just another notch in your freedom belt. Look what I did. When you look back at 1860 and 1861, I don't think the people who were conscripted to go into the Civil War were too afraid. Well, I think afterwards they did, because, if you watch Ken Burns' Civil War, man, you will hear about the the AWOL people and the deserters and all of that. People didn't want to go to war because they knew. But the people that did, yeah, they understood the risk. So if you're going to stand out with a sign in a parking lot with a bunch of your friends protesting TSA being there at a sporting event, I don't care if it's your high school sporting event, college, or professional, go do it. What, are you going to be afraid you're going to be arrested? Then, yeah, you're a wimp. You're a coward. You don't like America. If that's the case, I'm sure Mexico and Canada would love your citizenship. Oh, Gerard Depardieu was handed citizenship by Vladimir Putin in Russia because he's a tax exile from France. Yay! BK says half the actors don't want the Second Amendment have made big bucks in action in movies. Shooting. Yes. See? Hypocrites. Oh, that's just a movie. Yeah. But you used a weapon. Oh, that was just pretend. Yeah, I'm an actor too. I've spent a lot of years on stage. I know. Don't give me that excuse. Ain't gonna buy it. Anyway. Yeah, deport the TSA along with Piers Morgan and all those people at CNN. Didn't Ted Turner sell CNN, or does he still have some interest in it? Let's see. Ted Turner, Bill Gates left as senior architect of Microsoft and is now going around the country vaccinating children. Let's see. Eugenicists, yeah. Both Bill Gates and Ted Turner want 90% of the population of the world gone. Yeah, they're all for depopulation. Kill Granny and we get 10 teachers. That's what Bill Gates said at a TED conference. Go look it up. Yeah, TED. It's probably on YouTube. Go look up Bill Gates TED conference. Something like that. Yeah, so what do we do? Yeah. Anyway, hey, let's see what else we got. Let's go to Drudge Report real quick before we end the program, shall we? Drudge Report. Wait, my taxes went up today? They sure did. Thank you, Obama. Millions noticing paychecks lighter today due to payroll tax hike. Gabriella Hoffman's paycheck is a little lighter today thanks to a payroll tax increase that is forcing millions of Americans to make the kind of tough budget cuts their representatives in Washington lawmakers seem unwilling to tackle. Hoffman, a 21-year-old Virginian who works at a non-profit, estimates her paycheck will be roughly $30 less this biweekly pay period, or about $780 annually, thanks to the end of a 2-year cut on payroll taxes, which fund Social Security. The tax has risen back to 6.2% from 4.2%, costing someone making $50,000 annually about $1,000 a year, and a household with 2 high-pay workers up to $4,500 a year. Quote, as a newly graduated person, someone coming straight out of college, I don't like the idea of having less money coming to me due to the selfish interest of people in Congress who don't have any interest in reducing our financial problems, Hoffman told FoxNews.com. Quote, this is an impediment of future economic growth. It's going to make it harder for young people like myself to get married, find a better job, you name it, unquote. Yeah. Goes on and on and on and on. Gives examples. I'll put that up at Liberty and Freedom Network as well. Yay! Telephone. I love the telephone ringing. Don't you? I love caller ID, too. Yeah, it's nobody. They'll get the voicemail. Yeah, sorry about the phone ringing, folks, but, that's what happens. 3 more hours, 3 more hours, 3 more hours. Yeah, right. I wouldn't have a voice left. We may do another... We might, I don't know for sure, might do another show tonight. Nah, don't, quote me on that. I don't know. She gets home at a little before 8 o'clock. I doubt it, though. So I'll change that. Let me retract that. We won't have a show tonight. But tomorrow, 7 p.m. Pacific, we'll have the Unnamed Show. Yes, we'll have the Unnamed Show with the other host, Laura Clemens. And I don't know what we're going to talk about, but we're going to talk about something. I don't know. What, you're going to add a phone ringing sound effect to your show? Okay. There is one in the Spreaker sound effects, I think. But anyway, hey, we're going to get out of here, folks, because, you know, I'm having a blast, and it's Friday. It's one of those things, people. It's one of those things. Anyway, this is the Liberty and Freedom Network with the views expressed Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on Spreaker.com. You want to email us, you can do that. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Remember this. First of all, have a great night. Have a great weekend. Remember this. We the people have the power, for we are America.